Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Her Club True Stories. Today on our episode, we have Cynthia Balaji. She is based out of Chennai. She is a master's graduate in luxury fashion management from Paris. She is very ambitious, and I choose to say this because she has said that she wants to be financially free before her 30s. She is a co-founder of Maitri Events, an event management company she runs with her husband. She is an occasional teacher as well, and she is a part-time YouTuber. And the best part about her is she is a mom to a guinea pig, Hope, and a puppy named Harriet. Welcome to her club, Cynthia.
Hi Shilpa, thank you for such a warm welcome. I'm glad to be a part of your episode. It truly means a lot.
Okay, thank you so much for accepting my request. So, Cynthia, before we start off, actually getting to know what you do, I would like to understand, you said that you graduated from doing a course on, graduated doing luxury fashion management. What exactly is that?
Yeah, so luxury fashion management is basically like an MBA, which is more specific to, the luxury fashion business on the whole. And it deals with luxury brands. Like we are more aware, especially Indians, we are more aware of, high street fashion brands like H&M, Mango and Zara. And the only people I think living in tier 1 cities have little knowledge about the big brands like Louis Vuitton or Chanel or Dior. So luxury fashion management is a course which is designed specifically for studying about the luxury brands and the history behind them and why they are positioned in the luxury segment and the business which goes behind it and basically how they retail it to the market which they are serving. And this course I chose to do it in Paris because as we know, Paris is the heart of luxury. All luxury brands and most luxury brands are born in Paris. So that is what this course is about.
Okay. So post your graduation, did you pursue it further?
Yeah, currently I work for a luxury rental platform called Date the Ramp.
Okay. Oh,
I
you
work as
pursued
their
it further.
manager. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, and when did this entrepreneurship bug bite you?
I think that is a long time back. From the time I was in school, I would tell people that, I would want to be a businesswoman and I would earn a lot of money. But then I was not really supported by my close family or, relative circle because initially they didn't take me seriously because all my family, my whole family, they are job goers. None of them are into business, and people who are into business are into traditional small scale businesses. So and they felt that if I have a job I'll be financially secure, but for me I saw that people who go to a job always live paycheck to paycheck. Like how we were discussing, if an uncertain situation like the pandemic hits us, our job is at stake, but if we have a big business then we can be financially stable. And the second thing is we have control of our times. Currently I think our boss or the organization which we work for, they control the time we wake up, they control the time we have our food, they even control what days that we should be going on a vacation. So I didn't want to be that person. So I chose the other path.
Okay. Okay. So, what is the best part of entrepreneurship that excites you?
The best part is that I get to be better every day than I was the day before, because entrepreneurship is just all about, constant improvement and, constant learning and being updated. And, you always have to be open to learning new things. That is what excites me the most.
Okay. Okay. So, how did it start? What was that idea in your mind, or did you see something that you wanted to be a part of? How did it start? How did Maitri event start?
Yeah, so coming to that, I wanted to do something of my own once I come back to India. And I knew that the events industry in India is always booming, because we as a nation are known to spend a lot of money on weddings and birthdays and celebrations. It is a part of the Indian culture. And when you look at the money that goes in, it's really huge. And once again, if you look at the event planning industry, it's just booming year after year, and it's expected to grow even in the coming years. I wanted to tap that potential, and I wanted to fill the gap, where basically traditionally an event manager is somebody who is, very well known in the local area or in the local city, with no prior experience of, a creative eye, and they just do the routine stuff, like, boring decor put up all over the place, something which is not pleasing to the eye, and it was something which you cannot customize it as you want it
Yes.
initially. So that is how, it is very unorganized is what I would say. So I saw a gap there, and I wanted to be the person, the clients can connect to, and they can translate their ideas, and I can able to, help them visualize how the output would be, and promise them a quality output. I wanted to make it more professional, if I could say so. And
Yeah.
I decided to start up there.
Okay, so even I have seen I have seen events where you just call up a local guy and you tell them that there is a wedding in our family. That is just a one-liner given to them, and they get to decide on what color of decoration comes, or what kind of decorations they are yet doing. So okay, so you stepped into the industry to fill that gap. You saw a gap and you wanted to cater to that. Also,
Yes.
event management is on a broader, when we talk about event management, it is very broad. Is there any special category that you focus on?
We focus on niche weddings and birthday parties, uh, because even though the percentage of people who are, falling under this category is less, the potential is really high. So that is the market which we are tapping, and that is what we are going to do. And with events, with respect to this category, we help the client in every possible way. We help them with mehendi artists, we help them with makeup artists, we help them with any other form of entertainment or food or anything for that matter. We take it all upon us so that, they have the best possible experience.
A complete package. You're
Exactly.
trying to, okay. Okay. So did you have to go undergo a formal training, or did you work under somebody to get the nicks and knacks of the industry?
People initially suggested me that, I should work for an other event manager, so that I will learn, how to operate, and I learn how to talk to customers. But somehow I didn't choose that path, because I thought it is not rocket science, and it's something which I can figure it out. Basically, you need to be creative, and you need to communicate well with people, and you need to understand what they have in mind. These are two simple things. I think if all these years of education, if we are not able to do this, then there is something wrong with me. So I didn't go by that advice. Instead, me and my then boyfriend, we decided to, just pursue it. We started slowly, and it's become this brand it is today.
Okay. How easy or how difficult is to convince people to believe in you?
I think we don't convince people to believe in us, because when you talk to somebody, there is an instant, connection. If you can trust somebody or if you cannot trust somebody. So that is one thing. We look into the clients, and the clients, I think generally they do that too. When you meet somebody for the first time, and when you have seen their work in the past, they know whether you are the right person or not. So generally that is how it is. We don't especially try to convince people to believe us, because I think that is probably not possible. And secondly, even if we do that, I'm not sure how well, it might turn up. But initially, as you asked, it was a bit difficult to, let people, believe in us. At that time, I think my close family and friends were really supportive in spreading the word and there was, for everybody there is this breakthrough, right? One event, or one business deal which helps them take the transition. For me, it also, there was a similar event. It was my friend's birthday, daughter's birthday party. So she's an NRI. We helped her to plan the party by coordinating with her from here, and she just came to India 2 days before the birthday, her daughter's birthday, and we put in so much time, effort into that party, because that is what, a chance to prove ourselves,
Correct.
and it turned out so well. And by the end of the event, we had a lot of enquiries for other events in the same venue as well. So yeah, I think if we keep working hard towards something, everybody will reach that one point which can make them, which can make their craft better. So that is the point for me.
Okay. Okay. So, how long have you completed as my three events?
I think it has been 2.5 years now.
Okay.
And now, currently, due to the COVID situation, we are not doing events full fledged. We are only doing events where, limited number of people are there, or some house parties. So I think from next month, we have a lot of enquiries lined up. So we'll be doing it full swing from September.
Okay. Okay. So, what is the most challenging part of your job?
To me personally, the most challenging part is that when you have a reception and wedding, it is basically the next days. It
Yeah.
is day one day and next. You might have to go without sleep one day, because generally in Tamil weddings, I believe the muhurtam is early in the morning and the
Yes.
reception gets over the last evening. So your team will be working to change the setup, and that's one thing. I definitely need my night sleep. I cannot go without that. I get so cranky if I don't get sleep. So that is the most difficult part for me, but luckily my husband, he can manage with that.
Okay.
So I have a little, sorted over there.
Okay. Okay. So, um, when you say that you have completed 2.5 years, you started out because you saw that gap in the industry. How difficult or how easy was it to convince yourself that this is it, this is what I want to do? Because at many times we have a lot of ideas and we are not really sure on which idea to take forward. So in that case, what was your decision making point?
I did my research, thorough research, before taking a step forward in this industry. I found out the potential. I analyzed the gap, and only then I chose to do it. But I was not really welcomed. My friends thought I was doing something really lame after studying, and I should probably get a job and settle in France, is what my friends and my family thought. But my mother is extremely supportive. She always encouraged me to believe in her right from the time I was a child. So, and even, I am very grateful. If I would call, if I wanted to do something, I made sure that, somehow I reach that point. And I am always ready to put in the effort that is required for that. And as you know, a woman in any business is always still looked upon by most people in our society. They feel that, especially events is a man's job, where he has to go and coordinate with so many men on the field, where negotiate with clients or elders in the family. I faced a few humiliations on the way, and people who might think that they initially thought that, I would not reach this point. They thought I would give in to, the pressure, but I made it a point to prove it to myself and to others, so that, I can inspire people on the way. And so that is how my journey has been. And now the same people who criticized me are proud of me and my achievements. That happens a lot in our society, right?
Yes, yes, it definitely is. And my question, next question to you was, actually, how do you deal with such opinionated people? Because when a man chooses to do something, they are, there are no opinions as such that he is experimenting, he has a great idea. But when a woman, chooses to do something, it always welcomes with a lot of questions, lot of opinions. How do you deal with that?
I always believe that, I work hard in silence and my success should actually, talk to these kind of people. That's how I have been. But for me, I always had a good emotional support from my close friends and my husband and my mother, especially because they never made me feel, a bit down, or they never made me feel that I'm doing something wrong. They always had my back. I think anytime we feel that, we are judged a lot, or it's too much to handle, the opinions and the judgments placed upon you, it's always good to talk to a friend who can understand us better, so that, we feel a little refreshed after that. That's what I do. And I read a lot. So yeah, I read a lot and I take learnings from all those books, and that helps me stay on track as well.
Okay. Okay. So at Maitri events, what differentiates you from another event management company?
Okay. When we say event management, mostly, like, I can be brutally honest with you. When the clients, they come to us, they have a picture of, a decor which is done by another event manager,
Yes.
and they want us to do that. And that is how it goes. Somebody might take my picture and go to another event manager, and they want them to do that. So this is how the events industry is basically, and we cannot do anything about that. That's how it is. And when we compare the costs, uh, any business might not want to, operate in a loss, or might not want to make lesser profit. But when you compare the costs, it is extremely high for, the quality of work that they do. Even when the quality is good, I personally feel that the cost they offer is extremely high. Even though I am catering to the niche segment, I feel that my prices are fair. It's not too low, and it's definitely not too high. And the quality of work is on par with the people who charge more, or sometimes it's even better than that. So that is one thing where we differentiate ourselves, and that, a lot of our clients have given that on our reviews as well. And the second one is being available. Especially when I work with NRIs, we have worked with a couple of NRI clients up until now. We have to have late night calls, and then when meeting a client, we might have to, travel far. Even though we don't know that the event will get booked or not, we might have to meet them and discuss with them. These are small things which can make a big change. We can make them feel, welcomed. We can make them feel safe, that,
They
if
see
this
your
person.
effort going.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So day in and day out, what are for example, you have an event at hand. So, there will be challenges, some things not turning up, the fixtures are not right, etc. So what are those challenges that you see in a day in and day out?
We try our best to avoid these kind of challenges, because we start working at least 2 weeks before, and we have a checklist of, what are the things that have to be on the day of the event, what is the craft work that goes behind it, who is responsible for what and all. But even after that, there are definitely some things which get missed because of a human error. Somebody might forget something, and something might not work, something might get broken, and suddenly the hotel guy might say that, no, you're not allowed to stick something here and all. On those days, the first thing is we look for the next best alternative available, like, can we source it locally from a nearby store or somewhere. And if that is not possible, what we do is we talk to the client and we make them understand, because generally they are very understanding, and they see things from our perspective as well, because when we put in so much effort, they tend to see that too.
Yeah.
And instead of hiding something from them, it's better to confront them and tell them, I'm sorry, this is what happened, and it would be nice if you can understand it.
Okay, and how did any day? I mean, it is a short duration to ask this question, but there will be days when you feel that things are not going according to you, and you feel like giving up. So, were there any days, and how do you deal with that?
There are definitely a few days like that, especially in the initial phase, in the first 1 year. I think there were a month or so that we didn't get any event. We couldn't convert any prospect into a customer. But we kept doing what we do. We kept trying connecting to people. We kept spreading the word, and eventually it paid off. So there are so many days like that, especially, when you're, before when I was single, people would want me to get married and, settle. You should go to a 9 to 5 job. But I was so sure that this is what I want to do. I don't want to lead the life which they are leading. So yeah, I chose to stick on.
Okay, okay. And what according to you is your best achievement so far?
My best achievement is that I have come 2.5 years into a field with no experience or no support, as in, like, I don't have people in my family who are into business who can give me some tips and
Yeah.
ideas. So that is one thing which I consider as my achievement. And every time, every client who is happy, every client who leaves a positive review makes us feel proud, and those are the moments which I cherish the most.
Yeah, you feel that, whatever you wanted to do is worth trying at least.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. And, your tips for budding entrepreneurs or, mompreneurs or women entrepreneurs who, have ideas, but they don't know whether it would be good enough to start or not, or will it be worthy enough to start or not. So your
Okay.
tips.
The first thing any woman should do is to believe in herself, because that's more important. When we don't believe in ourselves, we cannot expect other people to believe in ourselves. So, first, trust your instincts, trust yourself, and take the step forward. And initially, it's definitely going to be difficult, but I think every tiny step in the right direction, it eventually pays off. And like, we have a lot of connect networks where women help and support each other. You can be a part of something like that and take moral advice from women in entrepreneurial fields. Like, over the journey of 2.5 years, I have made some really good friends who are budding entrepreneurs as well. So we have that network which always keeps our head high.
Yeah. Another thing, you should surround yourself with people who are equally ambitious and positive about life in general and support you, as well as, give honest feedback wherever you're wrong or wherever if you're derailing. So that is so important.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So going forward, how are you juggling the two roles now?
I think the biggest support that I receive is from my husband. I'm so lucky to have something like this, and he helps me a lot through the day. With events. Events was something which I wanted to start up. It was totally not his area of expertise, or it's something he would pursue. But he helped me throughout the journey, totally, because he had the trust in me. So even today, that's how we do. We have different tasks allocated for both of us, in our event management business. We have segregated who should do what, so that there is no confusion and the work gets done. And I plan my day accordingly. Every day I know what I do. I wake up in the morning and I know what is it that I have to get done before the night. So even if I go to work, it's not that I do events only on the weekends. I physically I'm at work, but I find time early in the morning or late at night to finish everything that is possible.
Okay. And if it clashes with your work schedule, suppose today you have an important meeting and today is the event. So how do you deal with such situations?
That my husband comes in handy because he will always be there to manage the scene when I am not there. Even though initially this is not something which he wanted to do, I think over the course of 2.5 years, he's also had developed some love for the craft that we are doing. So now I think he's become better than me, which
Okay.
is a good thing. I
Okay.
think when we start up a business, it's better to have a co-founder, who shares a similar vision and similar goals. So, on the way, it becomes easier.
Okay. Also, it rubs off when you are so passionate about what you want to do. It rubs off automatically to the person who is so close to you, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, on this note, just one tip. The hardest part is to start up. After that, there will be days when you're not sure of whether things will work around or not, but you somehow find a way to make things happen. So, one tip about that. How do you gather courage to do it?
I think uh, before gathering courage, I think what we need to do is we need to find out that if we start up something, who will be our customer or who will be our client? Will people be ready to, buy this product or service from them?
Yes.
And that I think it is better that it is not an emotional decision, but it is a very logical, well researched decision. Because in this short span of time, I have seen other people who had funded startups who were having a good income of clients have shut down. That's because initially they did not answer this part, like who will be my client or who will be my customer. When nobody is buying ready to buy your product or service, then there is no point to start up. When there is no need, I think a startup cannot address a need which doesn't exist.
Yes,
So to
definitely.
have the courage to start up, I think we should do a thorough research and find out, if people will be ready for this. Is this something people need? And if the answer is yes, then you should trust yourself, trust your instinct, and just start.
And yeah, and definitely work towards it, making that
Exactly.
things happen. Okay. Okay, so thank you so much, Cynthia, for being on Her Club True Stories and sharing your journey, as well as some very useful pointers on how you need to have that courage and confidence in yourself before even deciding to take the big leap. Thank you so much. And for people who would want to contact Sandhya, she is the co-founder of My Three Events. She has a Facebook page as well as an Instagram page, and people who would like to listen to our videos and listen to some inspiring stories from unstoppable women, please like and subscribe to Her Club True Stories. Thank you so much. Bye,
Thank
Cynthia.
you,
Thank you.
Shilpa. Thank you for your time. And, it was really nice having this conversation with you. My best wishes to you and, the meaningful projects that you have been doing. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Likewise. Have a good day. Bye bye.
You take care. Bye.
Yeah.